So what happens is, if you're the only player here, you'll get that small amount of business, or if the product or service industry is on the upslope, in other words, more people are now wanting that product or service, then the demand will come to you also. Now, does that apply to chiropractic today? No, it hasn't happened, and there's not showing any significant improvement toward that. That's the bad news. Now, the good news is you have this huge amount. We talked about the 7 components of a business: the executive, the financial, human resources, quality, service, technical, and sales and marketing. Every business has this. When you go out on your own and start your business, you're going to have to know every one of these components. You're going to have to do them all. And then if you hire somebody, then you can start delegating some of them. But you're going to have to cut your own bills. You're going to have to be the CEO. You're going to have to give the vision of where you're going. You're going to have to be the president. You're going to have to check day-to-day operations. You're going to have to be the head of accounting. You're going to have to be able to pay the bills, taxes, and all the financial issues. You're going to have to know how to hire, fire, and train. That's what you're going to have to know how to do. Deal with quality or service issues. Technical, you should know those anyway, because that's what you're learning at the school, is how to be a chiropractor. And then you're going to have to learn all the sales and marketing. By the way, what I talked about today, that process I talked about today was called sales. Okay? We're going to go into that a little more tonight. What is the difference between sales and marketing in the marketplace? And that's what I was trying to show you. There's only 4 ways for you to make revenue in your business. Remember those 4 ways? Number 1 was, by the way, it's no different than you, Walmart, McDonald's, Kmart, IBM, Microsoft. This is exactly what they have to do also. You have to get new business. In chiropractic, that's new patients. Number 2, you have to be able to increase the retention, or how often they buy from you. The frequency of the purchase. See, when McDonald's has you come to McDonald's, you think they never want to see you again? They put that playland there on purpose to bring little Johnny back. Okay? That's called retention, more purchases. Number 3 is you're going to have to deal with cost. What are you going to charge? And what are the factors relative to charging? What can you charge? Number 4 is decreasing your overhead. And I'll cover with you tonight also what are the major problems that you do with overhead. I'll tell you what the 3 common mistakes are for you to have high overhead. I'll go into that tonight. Okay? And all I was trying to show you is that decreasing your overhead, which one of these departments is decreasing your overhead? Huh? What deals with money? Financial department. What deals with what you're charging and cost control issues? That's a financial department issue. And this was what I was trying to show you today, why 11 out of 12 businesses go bankrupt. Read it. It's called the E-Myth by Gerber, Michael Gerber. 11 out of 12 businesses in the United States go bankrupt within 5 years. 80% of them within 2 years. This is why. This concept that I'm showing you is exactly why. Because the person who thinks they're going to start their cabinetry business, they think they're going to get people to buy their cabinets if they make a good cabinet. It's the biggest misconception that you think if you give a good quality and service that you will get business. And the concept that we're trying to show here is it is sales and marketing. Sales and marketing that gets business. Not the technical component. And where are you putting all your emphasis? Technical. You think if you're a good chiropractor, a good doctor. Now, you can lose business if you don't give good quality or service. Yes, definitely. But that's not what gets you business. What gets business, in other words, what makes these people right here act is a need, a perceived need. Now, after they act, that's when I told you there's 5 reasons. There's 5 components on what they will do. This is how you act as a consumer. This is what you do. The first thing you do is you have a need. If you don't have a need, are you going to buy? No. So how much sense does it make for you to try to cognitively talk somebody into chiropractic care that doesn't even have a need? Well, do you buy when you don't have needs? What do you think about wellness care? People are totally healthy. They have no perceptual problem of a need. How much time and money do you think they're willing to spend on care? You see? That's a very, very, very small niche market, and it's middle upper class disposable income. Very small. And it's not even the chiropractic market. Those people aren't even the people that see chiropractors. So what are you basing your success on when you leave? You're hoping you're going to be a good chiropractor and they'll hear about you. How many businesses in a 3-mile radius do you know that opened in the last 3 years? Or excuse me, in the last year? How many? In the last 1 year, how many businesses in a 1-mile radius, the professional businesses, CPA, dentist, lawyer, attorney, optometrist, podiatrist, how many in a 1-mile radius do you know opened in the last year? What makes you think they're going to know about you? Ooh. This is how the market works. This is how it works. I am now explaining to you why businesses fail, why they succeed, specifically chiropractic. That's what I'm explaining to you. Okay? So, all we're trying to show here is that getting new business and retention is a sales and marketing issue. It is not a quality or service issue. Quality of service will lose business and won't get you business. What makes these people act? First, a need. First, they got to have a need. These people are already acting because what do they have? A need. They already have a need, so they're acting. Now, after the need is established, then they will choose from one of 5 categories, and we said number 1 was name recognition, proximity, price, quality, and service. It is this order, it is in that order in chiropractic. How many of you fit into that example when you were thinking about going, first when you wanted to go to chiropractic college, what did you first have to have? A need. You wanted to be a chiropractor. How important was this school if you didn't want to be a chiropractor? 0. So the first thing you have to have is a need. Number 2, when you did, what happened unconsciously in your mind? You went through your mind, you collected data and information, and these are the categories you went to. You went to, who's the big one? Usually the big one is known as the first. Palmer. Palmer gets more students just because they're number 1. It's called the law of category in marketing. You always remember first, not seconds. It's a law. Who's the first chiropractic college? Who's the second?
That's a good question.
Who's the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic? From Paris to London, from Paris to France. Who was the second? They did it a week later. Who's the first female pilot to fly across the Atlantic? Who was the second? It's called the law of category. See, you as a consumer, you remember first, you don't remember seconds.